Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. And today I'm going to talk about how to make women obsess over you. Okay, so this is actually not that difficult, and I've done it many times. And I won't get into it too much, but I dated quite a few women before I got married, and you can find the details about it on my blog at lifemathmoney.com. Money.com. The reason I won't get into it here in this video is that I don't want to get banned from YouTube. So I'll only give you the lessons from for this article, but I will not give you the stories for the simple reason that they will cross YouTube's terms of service. But if you want more of the context, you can read the other articles on my website. Okay. And by the way, just to like clarify this, I've done this mostly in India, so that's my home country and that's where my cultural background is. And India is a much harder country to date in as a man than say the West, right? Than Europe or the USA. So anything that works in India is gonna work much better in the Western countries. But if you're someone who's Indian, this works really well. I've done this many times. It just works. Okay, so listen carefully. Step number one is to set the right first impression. Okay, set the right first impression. And by this, what I mean is that when a girl sees you and she talks to you for the first time, what does she think about you? What does she assume about you? So let's say that you dress well and you talk like a confident bro, okay? If you don't reply to her text at night, what is she gonna assume? She's gonna think that you must be out, you must be busy with a different girl, right? It works in your favor. It colors her imagination in a way that she thinks you are this cool guy, you must be doing this interesting shit that is more fun than talking with her, okay? On the other hand, when she talks to you and meets you for the first time, you look and you dress like a nerd. What does she think when you don't pick up the phone and talk to her when she messages you? She thinks that this guy must be busy playing video games or masturbating to porn or something else, something stupid like that, right? He must be working late at night. He must be at office, right? It's like it works against you. It colors her imagination against you, right? She thinks that if you are busy, you must be doing some dorky shit and not doing cool shit. And I'll give you an example, right? So this is with everything, all the content I make, I always strive to give you, actionable advice. So I'm also gonna give you an example. So I'm gonna paste an image here, okay? Take a look at this guy, right? What happens? What do women assume when a guy like this says that he's busy at 10 p.m. at night, okay? Women assume that he must be working a boring job. Right? He must be jacking off to porn. He must be playing video games. None of these are exciting to a woman, right? None of these imaginations make a woman think, I should go and build a relationship with this guy because he's high value, right? They think this person is low value. And this is completely different from how this person might actually be. So this guy might actually be this really cool guy. He must be doing this fun shit in real life. But because of the way he looks, because of his haircut, his physicality, his lack of musculature, this guy is perceived to be a dork, right? And this is why it's so important to hit the gym. Okay? Because it makes your physical appearance look better, right? It makes you look more rugged and masculine. And let me give you another example. One second, let me scroll up here. Scroll up more. Okay. Mm, yeah. Okay, let me copy paste this image. I think I need to do it separately. Copy image, paste. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at this image. What do women assume when a guy like this says that he's busy at 10 p.m., right? What does a woman assume? Well, she assumes that he must be out with someone else. He must be out with a different girl. This is what women assume, and this increases their desire, right? It makes them think the guy is high value. And this is completely different from what he could be in real life, right? In real life, this guy might turn out to be a complete dork or a loser. But the thing is that, right, because of the first impression he's set, women will always perceive him to be a high value guy who must be doing cool shit, right? And this is something that's called pre-selection. Again, I've talked about pre-selection more in on my blog in other pieces, but I will just gloss over it for now. Another thing that you want to do is that you want to learn how to speak with power, right? This is also something that helps set the right first impression. And this is something that I actually had to learn. So I'm going to give you like a tutorial. So I'm going to give you an example firstly of speaking with weakness. So if you talk like this, right, you talk very fast. I'm talking in a very rushed way. I'm fumbling over my words. This sounds very weak, right? It sounds very fidgety. This does not sound powerful, right? When a woman hears this, she is less attractive to you. She thinks that you are low value, right? You're speaking in such a fast tone, blah blah blah, right? Okay, so if you hear someone talking that way, it makes them come off as weak. They are not powerful speakers. On the other hand, when you talk slowly, when you talk with a deeper voice, and when you pause after saying what you have to say, it makes women and it makes people in general feel like you are higher value, because when you don't need to speak fast, it means that what you're saying is worth listening to. It means that people shut up and listen. And when people shut up and listen, it means that you must be high value, right? So women's logic is typically like this, right? If other people value you, therefore your value is high, right? They don't actually do the calculation themselves. They kind of rely on how much other people value you, right? This is why first impressions are so important. So nerds who are, guys who are just overly serious, overly serious, or guys who are like, buzzkills, guys who are nerdy, guys who are dorky, dorky clothes, etc. All of this makes women think that you are low value, right? It does not actually make you low value, but it makes women think that you are low value. It sets the wrong first impression, and if your goal is to get more women, this is something you really don't want to be doing, right? You want to give off the first impression that you are a high value guy. You want to speak slowly. You want to appear masculine. And you want to seem like the chill guy, right? You really do not want to have this overly serious vibe about you, because that takes the fun away. You have to remember that women have incredibly boring lives. They literally wake up, they go to their job, they come home, they watch Netflix, they go shopping, and that's really just that's their life, right? They're looking for a man who can make them free as a child again. This is why they are so attracted to guys who are like artists and, singers and all these fun people. They are looking for the freedom of their childhood back. And this whole buzzkill, overly nerdy, serious shit is just too grown up for them. It works okayish if you're looking for a wife, right? Because at that point, women are looking for like a beta male who can pay the bills, and that's acceptable. But if you're trying to sleep with more women, you're trying to have them obsess over you, you need to be someone that they really want to be around, right? She has to want to be around you, and for that, she has to have fun. She has to have fun, okay? And if you are someone who gives off the vibe that being around you is going to be not fun, then you are not going to do well. Okay, point number two. Point number two is that you shouldn't be needy. So don't be needy. Girls like to chase. Okay, I'm gonna give you like a big formula about girls. Girls like to chase. Okay, whenever you talk to a girl, do not seem desperate. Okay, desperation is bad. It's really, really bad. Always seem aloof and don't give her extra attention. Don't give her extra attention. And what I mean by this is that let's say that, there's a group of people, right? There's a guy, there's a girl, and there's a fat girl, right? There's a guy, girl, and a fat girl. What most people will do, what most men will do is, let's say this is the attractive girl. They will come and say hi to her, then they will say hi to the guy, then they will say hi to the fat chick, okay? And when they are talking, they will constantly be trying to talk to the attractive girl. They will pretend like the fat girl doesn't exist, and they will occasionally talk to the guy. They will kind of, even when they don't realize it, they will give a lot of extra attention to the attractive girl. And the attractive girl is used to this, right? She expects this. She knows that this is how men are around her. What you need to do is the opposite, right? When you let's say you meet this group of 3 people, go and say hi to the fat girl first, okay? Let me change the pen color 1 second. Go and say hi to the fat girl first, right? Then talk to the guy, and then talk to the attractive chick. Like then say hi to the attractive chick. When you're talking, give your male friend 40% of the attention. Give your fat friend 30% of the attention, or maybe even like 40% of the attention, right? Give them equal attention. And give this attractive chick only 20% of the attention, right? Don't like stare at her, don't talk to her too much. You can talk to her, but don't give like too much attention to her. Don't make her feel special. Make sure that you talk to your male friend and the fat chick. Okay, because these attractive women, they're used to getting so much attention from men that when a guy does not give them attention, it makes them think that you are special, right? You are something different. It makes them think that you are superior to other guys, right? Because why do they think this? They think this because unlike most guys, you are not giving her extra attention. This must mean, like, when I say must, this, I mean, in a woman's mind, this is a must, right? This must mean that you don't care about her beauty. Because you have so many other women and you're used to it, right? Right? It means that you are used to being around beautiful women, which means that you are high value. And this means that she should try to pursue you, right? This is how she thinks inside her head. Okay. This is high rank behavior, by the way. What I'm showing you now, this is very high rank behavior. When a guy in a suit, like I'll tell you what. So if you go to a corporate office, right, and there's a guy in a suit, and he looks well dressed, he looks like he's making a lot of money, and he spends 10 minutes in a normal conversation with a janitor, right, which most employees will completely ignore. 90% of this time, right, this person is going to turn out to be a CXO, or, a CEO, or whatever, like some very high ranking official. Because people who give attention to the downtrodden, right, they tend to be people who are very high rank. And women subconsciously understand this, right? They know this. This is not something they have to be taught. They understand it. So she will get it. She will chase you. So keep this in mind, okay? At the end of the day, right, all girls like to chase. All girls like to chase. It's in their DNA, right? She wants to go after the free bird and catch him and put him in her cage. She really does not want the wounded, needy birds that are like giving her all the attention. People who do 80% of the talking with her, and like 15% of the talking with this guy, and 5% with the fat chick, right? She really does not want this shit. She wants these guys who barely talk to her, okay? It's high rank behavior. Keep this in mind. Point number three is don't blur things. Keep the mystery alive. What do I mean by this, okay? Under no circumstances you want to allow a girl to form an assessment of your day-to-day life, right? She must not be able to know what your everyday life looks like, right? Right? Like assessment. So why is this the case? Why should she not be able to form an accurate assessment of your everyday life? The reason is that you want her imagination to work in your favor. You want her imagination to work in your favor. And what do I mean by this? Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll give you an example. Let's say that let's say that you are a tennis player. You play tennis. You have a tennis racket in your hand, right? You play tennis, and you go out with a girl, and the girl says, "Hey, I play tennis." Right? What would be a bad response? Okay, a bad response would be something like, "Oh, me too. I also play tennis. I've been playing tennis for blah 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 number of years. This is my like favorite style of playing tennis, and etc." You make your conversation about tennis, right? That's a bad response. What is a good response? A good response is saying something like, "Nice. I already guessed that you are good at tennis. You have the body of a tennis player." Right? Because now you haven't given her any information about you, but you've also kind of sexualized the conversation, right? In a subtle way, like you have the body of a tennis player. This makes her go from just a girl who's out with you into a girl who knows that you're sexually interested in her, right? Which oftentimes makes them sexually interested in you, because there's a reciprocity factor here. You don't have to be very, smooth about it, right? Life is not a TV show where you have to be smooth all the time. A girl who likes you will look past any roughness. So if you find yourself having to be extra smooth and things like that, You are probably with a girl who really does not want you that much. A girl who wants you will find a way. A girl she will find a way to look over any mistakes you make. So don't worry about being smooth. But so what do you do after this good response, right? What do you do next is more important. Let's say that you go out on a different date with her, and the date is supposed to be, let's say, at 8 p.m. You cancel this date at say 6:30 or 7. You cancel the date, okay? You don't go. You send her a message that's saying, "Hey, sorry, I'm too sleepy today to show up. I woke up early to play some tennis with my friends, and I couldn't. And I just need to get some sleep." Right? That's what you do. So now, what goes on in the girl's head, right? She thinks, "Oh, he plays tennis. Why didn't he tell me before? It must be because it's not a big deal for him, right? It's not important for him. It's just everyday life for him. He has so much going on, right?" And in case if she asks you, "Why didn't you tell me before that you play tennis?" You just say, "You didn't ask me," and laugh about it, right? The point is that once you do this, even like once, but usually 2-3 times, once you do this, right, it makes her imagination think that every time you are up to something, it must be some cool shit, right? So use her imagination in your favor. And the only way to make it work is if the mystery exists. If the mystery exists, right? If she knows what her everyday life looks like, she knows what you do, she knows where you're going, and she can predict it, then this is like over, right? This does not work anymore. This is just like, oh, poof, I know who you are completely, right? The only way to make this work, and this works really well, right? It can make women really, really obsessed with you. Just keep the mystery alive. Don't blur things. Don't tell her everything about you, right? Imply things. So that actually naturally brings me to my next point, which is to imply things, right? Okay, point number 4. Be subtle and imply things. So overt communication is how men talk, right? If you say things like, "I am rich, I am exciting," now, all girls want to, fill in the blank, blah, blah, right? This stuff makes you sound like an idiot, right? Saying these things out loud makes you sound like an idiot. Because it shows that you are an arrogant person with low social skills, right? This is arrogant. This is like bad social skills. So this is all stuff you shouldn't do, okay? Someone with high social skills, they don't say things like this out loud. You always imply those things, right? Instead of saying, "I am exciting," okay, I'll tell you what I would do on a date, what I did on a date, actually, what I've done on many dates. I tell girls a story of how I got lost in a forest. And by the way, if you're interested in that story, it's also on my blog. I'll leave the link in the description. I also recorded the video of me being desperately lost in a forest. So if you want to watch the video of me being lost in a forest, you can. But, it's just like climbing through wilderness type stuff. So some people are very interested in it. Some people are not. So you can go watch it. I'll leave a link in the description. Okay. Anyway, when I tell a girl a story about how I got lost in a forest and how we escaped and how we saw snakes, and I will show her pictures, right? I'll show her pictures of the story, so she knows I'm not making it up. It automatically tells them that I'm an exciting person, that I have adventures, blah, 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 right? So you should never say that I am an adventurous guy, I am exciting. You should always imply it with your stories and, the things that you talk with her. It works much better, right? so anyone who if you've been reading my blog, right, like you would know that I've lost my life, nearly lost my life. Sorry, I haven't died yet, but I've nearly lost my life doing various things, right? I know I almost fell down from a trek. I climbed a ladder in a storm on a mountain once to escape a situation. I was in a car accident, blah blah blah, right? So I have pictures. You can see this on my blog. There are pictures, etc. I'm not going to go into it on in this article in specific, but I enjoy my life and I have a more interesting life than 99% of people. Okay. Instead of saying I am a cool guy, right? What I just did right now, right? Like I have more interesting life than 99% of people, right? Most people watching it, the first thing that enters in their head is that's such a low social status thing to say. Like who does this guy think he is, right? Because that's just not how you should communicate. You should always be subtle and imply things. I'll give you one more example, okay? When I was dating a whole bunch of girls, right? This was back in my early 20s when I was spinning plates. I would invite girls to do fun things with me. So when I would go trekking, I would invite some of them to go trekking with me. And one thing me and my mates had going on was that we had like a weekly barbecue. So let me show you a picture. 1 second. Yeah. So we used to do a weekly barbecue. Okay. And we used to always invite girls to our barbecue, right? We used to invite girls. And again, right, most girls, right, they have incredibly boring lives. Again, they have like, this is what their life looks like. They just go to their job, they come back, they watch Netflix, or maybe they go out with some guy they met from Bumble, but that's really it, right? It's not like an exciting life. Even having sex with someone you met from Bumble it gets boring after a while, right? So it's not like they're not doing anything particularly fun. So when we used to invite them to the barbecue, we used to grill chicken. We used to grill pineapples. We used to grill paneer. And a whole bunch of other vegetables, right? Like, and we would have like this thing where we would like cut all the stuff in front before we grill them, and it was a lot of fun. We used to put all the what's the English word for it? For masala, the spices, right? We used to put all the spices and the marination and everything. It was a whole bunch of fun, and since it was a group activity, we were all chilling, and these girls who would join in, they would have a lot of fun, right? They would have so much fun that they would literally try to, be invited as much as possible. Okay. It was like a very exciting activity that they really love to partake in. And we would always tell them that we do this every single week. So we would tell them that we would do it every week. We would tell them, okay? But we would not invite them every week, in the sense that we would essentially, so the girl is like, yeah, you should invite me next week as well. And yeah, we are like, yeah, sure, we'll invite you. But the next week, we just don't message her. We would not message that girl, right? And when these girls were not invited, they knew for sure that we were having fun with other girls, right? And it was like something they knew. Like they knew for sure. They were thinking about it, right? That time when we were out barbecuing, the girl who was not invited, she is thinking about us. And she is thinking that I was not invited. What did I do wrong, right? What can I do to get invited? Why did they not invite me? And the next time I would go out with this girl, right? Next time, this girl would be on her best behavior. This girl would be on her best behavior. So anywhere, I could take her out to a McDonald's and she would happily come the next time, and she would like try to make sure that, she was like the perfect girl, right? And these girls would do anything, right? Anything for me, right? Not just sexually, right? Sexually and otherwise, right? Like I would ask them to cook meals for me and they would do it, right? Because they really wanted to be around us, around me as much as possible. For the simple reason that being around me would make her have so much fun, right? She would get to go on treks with me. She would barbecue with me, blah, 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 right? The message was simple. If she did a good job, if she was good with me, right? If she gave me what I wanted sexually or otherwise, then she would be invited to more stuff to do with me. And if she wasn't, then she wouldn't be invited, right? So it was a simple message. And I didn't have to say it, right? It was just like implied, right? It was implied, it was subtle. But the message was sent anyway. So the message is like, I am the source of fun, adventure, and excitement, right? That's like I'm putting it in the male terms, putting it in overt terms, and that makes it sound gross. But that's really what the message is. It says that I am the source of fun, I am the source of adventure, and I am the supply of excitement. And I have plenty of girls who want me, and I don't really need you. I don't need you to have fun. But if you make me happy, right? If you make me happy sexually and otherwise, right? You do what I want. You make me have fun. You give me good orgasms. You cook for me. You do whatever I need. Then you will get to partake in the fun and the adventure with me. And if you don't make me happy, I will just take a different girl instead of you, right? And that's very crass to say, but that's what the message is. And that really works, right? And trust me, she will understand this message. She will understand what it means when you take her out to something fun that happens regularly, but she is not invited. She will know it. Girls are very good at subliminal messaging. They understand it, and it's their primary mode of communication. Men use overt communication, men and autistic women, right? Women don't. To drive the point home, right? Again, I told you I will not be using a lot of images and examples because I don't want to get banned from YouTube, but let me use like this family friendly one. So this picture, right? So this picture is me. This is my wife. I'm married now, right? So this is my wife in this picture. And what are we doing here, right? So I was on a trip to Leh, I think. I don't even remember where I was. I think this was Leh. And there was a place called the Leh Palace, right? Or something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, we just saw this place at random and we saw this interesting looking statue. So we drove to it, right? Let me find how to, yeah. So we saw this interesting looking statue. Oh, here is the statue, right? Yeah. So we just drove to this place, and then there was like a hill fort behind the statue. So we just climbed it in sneakers, right? So I had a lot of fun because I love trekking, right? Anyone who reads my blog knows how much I love trekking. I've been doing it for so many years, right? So I love trekking. The wife loves trekking, because I found a wife with similar interests here. So also my wife. And we go on adventures, right? Not just this one, but every time we're traveling, and we travel like once a month. If we find some interesting place, we will just trek it. We'll climb it, right? It doesn't matter whether we're wearing sneakers or slippers or trekking shoes, whatever, Life around me is fun. That's the point. That's what you want to convey to women without saying it out loud. That if you are around me, you will have fun. If you can get that right? No woman will ever leave you, and they will always be obsessed with you. Because all women, at the end of the day, they want fun. This is what they want. This is like the key. This is the main thing, right? Women want fun. They don't want to be bored. They want a man who can supply them with different types of emotions like anger, happiness, sadness, excitement, blah, 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 right? They want to feel alive. They want the freedom of their childhood back. And if you can supply that, you are the king, okay? Point number 5. And I'm going to get some water. 1 second. Point number 5 is that don't be available 24/7, right? Don't be available for a woman all the time, right? What does this mean? This means that don't reply to her text right away. Don't reply to her text right away. Don't text her all day. Again, let her imagination fill the details. Right? So if you did the other things that I said right, this is going to work incredibly well for you. Okay. First of all, right, let's talk about this point by point. No proper man, and by that I mean no proper man, no one, not even one proper man has the time to be WhatsApping a 19-year-old girl all day. Nobody. And I know there are a lot of these PUA type writers. I'm not criticizing them, right? Some of them know what they're talking about. Some of them are really good. But many of them will say things like, you should go out to shopping malls and try to pick up girls. And, these are the types of people who have the time to talk to a girl for 5 hours on WhatsApp. But I don't know about you, but I don't have the time to do it. I just don't, right? I have business, I have stuff to do. I have this hobby blog that I love to do, etc. Right? I'm not gonna spend my time WhatsApping a girl who is 19 years old. It's just like it's not like a good use of time, right? Again, if you are like these POA types people who are like going to shopping malls and trying to just go into a shopping mall to meet more girls, you might have the time to do it. Most people I know don't, right? You have too much going on, and it really, is that what you want to do at 1 a.m? Talk to some chick, really, like on WhatsApp? Like, see, the girls can do it, right? Girls can do it because they are young and they're bored, they have nothing to do, and they like the attention, right? For them, you talking to them at 1 a.m is just validation, right? For them, it's just like a dopamine hit. It's as good for them as watching reels on Instagram. So from the girl's perspective, I get it. Why would a guy do it, right? So don't do it. Or just use these chat apps to schedule dates. So chat apps, right? WhatsApp or whatever, Venmo or whatever is like you guys use in your country. In India, we use WhatsApp. Only use it to schedule date. Schedule dates, right? Don't use it for other purposes. Do not have long conversations with them on WhatsApp. Because I've made this mistake, right? Like a 5-minute conversation can easily, she will use her emotional drama nonsense, and now you wasted 2 hours on some banal bullshit, and you have become tired, right? Handling her emotions, and you've gotten nothing out of it, right? You haven't fucked her by talking to her on WhatsApp. So just don't do it. Just keep this rule in mind. The only time you want to use WhatsApp is to schedule a date. That's it, right? But make sure that you reply to them once or twice a day to keep the conversation going, right? Like, so keep the interaction going. So maybe, like you reply to her around 2 o'clock, then she leaves you a message around 3, 4. You send the next message at 10, and then you reply to her the next day, okay? But never reply to her right away. Don't do it right away. Make her wait, and don't do it too frequently, right? Just limit your WhatsApp interactions to 1 to 2x a day just to keep the conversation going. Otherwise, she will forget about you, right? It's a girl you've just met or whatever. She will forget about you for sure if you don't talk to her at all. So, by the way, don't worry that you will lose the girl by being unavailable, right? They will assume that if you did all the other stuff right? If you did all the other stuff right, when you are unavailable, girls will assume that you must be doing some fun shit, or you must be out with, a different woman, right? Her imagination works in your favor. So all of this is why point number 1 was so important. Otherwise, right, girls just assume you must be busy at office, or you must be playing video games or some shit like that, right? You want her to assume good things about you, so you got to make sure that you give her a reason to assume good things about you. So something I used to do, right? This is like a trick, and this is very manipulative. So if you are like a nice guy, right? So you can skip this section, but I used to do this very often. So what you, here's like a manipulation tactic, right? What you do is you schedule 2 dates on Friday, right? Schedule 2 dates, but then flake on one of those dates 1 hour before. So if the date is at 9 o'clock, flake on her at 8 o'clock, okay? You know, whatever the time is. You know, in India, typically people go to dates late. Like at least I always did 9 o'clock, but in Western countries they do 7 o'clock, whatever. So flake on her 1 hour before the date, right? On one of the on one girl. So go out with the other girl. So this way your night is not wasted, right? But what happens when you flake on the other girl, right? On one of the girls, tell them that you are too busy today, and you know you would see them the next day. And here's like the image that I always use, right? Like I always use this image. It works really, really well. Let me see if I can copy paste it. Yeah, here it is, right? Right. So I used to train MMA, and every time, right, when I'm flaking on a girl for the first time, I would tell her this. Like, I would not, first of all, right, if the date was at 9 o'clock, I would just like not respond at all. And I would wait for her to ask, you know, are we doing the plan? Are we coming or not? And then I would tell her, like, you know, how about we meet the next day? You know, how about we meet tomorrow? And I would send her a photo of, you know, me at the MMA gym. And the reason I did that was because I had never told these girls that I'm into MMA, right? And I would tell them, you know, I'm too tired for today and I can't show up. Let's do it tomorrow. It drove these girls insane. Like I'm telling you, it made these girls go insane. It makes women go insane. And the reason is that guys do not flake on women. It's always women who flake on guys, especially attractive girls. It's always attractive girls who flake on guys. Guys never flake on attractive girls. So you are like completely breaking all of her mental models, right? You have just flaked on an attractive woman and you're doing some cool shit, and that cool shit is more important to you than, you know, going out with her, right? So you flake on an attractive girl and break her mental model, right? And suddenly by doing this, right, you go from like a high value guy to the highest value guy, right? Like in her mind, there is no guy more attractive to her than you. Because like I said earlier, right, women love to chase, right? Where is that slide? Let me find it, right? Girls love to chase. This is what they really like to do. And by being unavailable, by flaking on her, you are showing that she is not valuable to you. It makes her go insane, right? Her mind will drive her crazy. And I know this. I've done this so many times. I've done this maybe like 30 to 40 times with different girls, different attractive girls. It has worked 99% of the time, okay? Every time after you do this, she is not with you. Do you know what's going on in her head? Every time when you're not with her, she will think you are out with a different girl. She will think you must be doing cool shit. You know, like MMA or trekking or whatever. And, you know, she will, next time that you actually go out with her, you know, which is probably going to be the next day, which she's going to agree with this, by the way. She's going to say like, Leia, let's do it. next time you go out with her, she will be on her A game, right? A game. She will be on her A game. She will do everything for you, right? She will try her best to make you happy, right? Like in every possible way. And I'm not gonna describe it because I don't want to get banned from YouTube. But sexually or otherwise, whatever you want to do, this girl is gonna do it because she will try her best to please you because she thinks you are the highest value man in the world, okay? This is something that's called dread game, by the way, where she thinks that if she is not, doing her best, you will leave her for a different girl, right? And okay, again, I really don't want to get banned from this website, but from personal experience, right? Like I'm from India, right? So Indian women, right? Indian women are very used to beta males, right? Around beta males. They're very used to being around like these chocolatey boys who are, simping and making her feel extra special and, giving her the princess treatment. When you essentially do not give these women attention and basically like she knows that you're an alpha male, you are like the best guy ever that she could ever get, like you are the best guy that she can ever get, and if she loses this opportunity she will lose it forever and then she will regret it. If this is what she knows, Indian women will go berserk, right? And they will do some really degrading shit with you just to give you great orgasms, right? So Indian women just go crazy with this. So again, this is like a somewhat manipulative tactic, but it works really, really well. And there's something I can tell you, that the more conservative the culture, right, the sluttier the girls are in private. The more conservative the culture, the sluttier the girls are. In private. Because for the simple reason that this is the only way they can express their sluttiness, right? Like in other countries, you can dress up like in a extremely slutty way and, get some of that energy out. In a conservative country, like the only place you get it out is in the bedroom. And I'm telling you, I don't know about other cultures, right? I haven't like slept with a lot of European or American women, so I can't like, I have some experience, but not enough to like, form like a strong judgment. But with Indian women, right, they will go berserk. They will just do whatever you say. Some of the most degrading shit happens after you pull this thing on them, where you just flake on them, right? They're not used to it. It works really well, okay? Then I have like a point number 6, but again, it's not like something I'm willing to cover on YouTube. So if you're interested in learning about it, you can go and read it on my website. I will leave it in the description. And yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And let me know if you have any questions. You can leave them in the comments below and I will answer them when I have a chance. And thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, blah, 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 right? I'm not gonna like ask you repeatedly, but if you find this content good, then you get something out of it. If you subscribe to it, it will be recommended to you more often. So go and hit subscribe. See ya, and I'm gonna see you guys next week.